evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. This is the Groveland Cable TV Advisory Board meeting of Thursday, October 10th. It is now 7:33, and we're going to open the meeting. The first agenda item was public comment. We don't have any public here, so we're going to go on to the next. The next agenda item is approval of minutes. Has everyone read the minutes? These are the minutes for Thursday, September 26, 2019.
You want a motion to approve?
Yep.
I move to approve the minutes of September 26 as presented.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
I'm just going to take a second to turn down the volume on the TV that's echoing. All right, we approved the minutes. One of the things under minutes I wanted to make the board aware of, at the last selectmen's meeting, they made me aware that we have not posted our meetings to the town clerk, our minutes to the town clerk, as we should have. So I'm going to ask all board members to review your minutes, pull out anything that hasn't been posted so we can turn them over to the town clerk so they can be posted as a public record. Before we get started, I just want to deviate just a little bit. And first, I want to apologize to the board and the residents of Groveland. As chairperson of the Cable TV Advisory Board, I have not done as good a job as I could have, and I want to apologize for that. As such, we are behind on our timeline for our contract renewal, and I bear full responsibility for this, and I apologize to the board members, and I apologize to the residents of Groveland. And moving forward, hope to do the best we possibly can to help negotiate our new cable contract with Comcast. Having said that,
Tracy, can I say something?
yes, you may.
Yeah. I think that's nice of you to say and take full responsibility, but it is a committee, and we did have initial meetings, and we knew what was coming forward, so it's not all on you. Just
Yeah.
want to say that.
Like I say, as a chairperson of the board is responsible for that board's work, and, I should have stayed on our timeline, so I do apologize. And we will hope to rectify the problem.
We will rectify it.
All right, agenda item 3. At the last Board of Selectmen meeting,
Could you make a copy of the agenda for the rest of us?
sure.
And when you do, maybe you could turn that volume down a little bit further, too.
Oh, further?
Still getting an echo.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn down the volume. We'll see how that works. As I was saying, at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, the selectmen expressed concern with a number of things. One was contact with town council. They had told me Chris had contacted town council directly, and I did speak with Chris about this, and no one is allowed, except the chairperson of a board, to directly contact town council, employee and board members alike. If any board member and/or employees have questions, it does come through the chair. So I have spoken with Chris about that, and it will not happen again. Second item that the selectmen made me aware of is some time ago, they had requested a job description for Chris, and I let that slip through the cracks too, I guess, so I apologize for that. For our next meeting next week, I will develop the job description. We will discuss it next week. We will forward it to the selectmen for their review and additions, deletions, depending on what they want.
Did we
And get
never
that
have
taken care
one?
of.
I recall way back.
We did when he was
He was-
first hired.
Okay, all right.
And, you
And
know,
then
that was
his-
some time ago and probably does not reflect currently what he is doing. As you know, the job has
It
evolved,
right,
and it's much more in-depth now
okay.
than what it was when he was first hired many years ago. So we will
Update it.
update that. Third thing, they expressed very concern on cable negotiations, and again, I accept responsibility for not us being where we are, and I expect us to be meeting weekly. Our next week, you know, will probably be 2.5 hours. And I can expect that to happen through our renegotiation process. I would expect next week that we will start reviewing the draft contract line by line, because one of the other things the selectmen had expected was, we have the draft proposal from Comcast. They asked if I had sent back a counter to their draft, and I said we had not. I said we had finished our questions for the online survey. I received a message from Denise today that the selectmen wish to review the questions before they go online, so we will postpone that process. I did contact Denise as far as what the process was for paying for the online service, and she had emailed me back that we either pay, I pay and get reimbursed, or, I can't remember the exact term, and I don't have it right in front of me, but she told me. So,
Yeah, I'm writing.
like
When do
you
you
say,
anticipate that, that survey to be posted?
yeah, but it can't be posted until after the selectmen review the questions, so we will get
Did they
that
give
to
you a
them.
timeline?
No, they did not.
So that's a very important part of the whole process.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as negotiations go, we all know how much we can negotiate and what we can get out of the only game in town.
Yep. But, like I say, that's what they have now requested, so I will honor what they have requested and postpone that from happening until they have their input for any additions or deletions.
Excuse me, but weren't we told when we first met with council, back at the beginning of summer, that these are some of the things we should be doing,
Yep.
but we really don't get into it until October, November?
Yeah, but we really should have been more proactive. Like I said, I should have been more active during the summer. I
Well,
got busy, I know everyone else got busy.
that's
Not
right, but
Everyone was able to sign in right away when the reappointments happened, which delayed things. But, you know, as they say, the buck stops here.
right, I'm not even thinking blame, but he advised us, you know, things that
Yeah.
would be prudent in this process, but we also commented on how much response are we gonna get during the summer?
Yeah, and like I say, we'll get our survey out. I will encourage each and every one of the board members to start talking to people they know.
I think we've been
I-
doing that. Have you-
Ideally, I would like to see if we can get some people to attend our board meetings. I would like input from people now, even before the survey goes out, you know, and during the survey process. Because as they said, you know, not everyone will do the online survey. So we will have to have paper surveys to account for those people, to make sure we touch base with all the stakeholders here in Groveland. I will, Ed made me aware of,
The paper surveys, obviously the same questions,
correct,
are you gonna do like Survey Monkey, and then they'll tabulate the results?
correct.
Where are they gonna, where the paper ones, where are you gonna turn in?
We'll probably have people turn it into the cable box here in Town Hall. And
I'll tabulate those if you want.
Yeah, and then there is an ability to upload those so that we can still have the tabulation by SurveyMonkey. So like I say, I know it's going to be a lot of work. I know we can do it. I know we should be further than where we are right now, and again, I apologize. I will ask board members who are available. The next selectmen meeting is Tuesday night because of the Monday holiday, and I will ask board members to be there. And I will post it as an actual meeting for the board with the Board of Selectmen. And we'll just go from there. Like I say, please review the draft, make notes that you want to. I plan on contacting Chris to make sure that we can project the draft up on the screen so we can read it line by line, so that people at home who may not be interested in looking at it online may be more apt to follow it on television.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you know if at that meeting with the selectmen, they're going to go over the survey questions? Is that the purpose of the meeting?
They have on their agenda for that meeting, for, let's see, for Tuesday, October 15th, update on cable contract renewal / negotiations. inventory of current equipment, which I've talked to Chris about, review survey questions, live streaming capabilities, and letter from the Mass Department of Telecommunications and Cable regarding the cable license renewal process. So those, the live streaming, I did talk to Chris. He had said he has made multiple email requests to the Groveland IT person regarding what do we actually need, because we approved the live streaming, but then it was revealed that the technical capabilities in town hall would not handle it. And so I asked Chris, I need to know exactly what we need and what is it going to cost in order to talk to the selectmen and Denise. And he said he has made multiple attempts to the IT person, and he hasn't received a definite answer that we need A, B, C, and A is gonna cost this much, B is gonna cost this much, C is gonna cost this much for the equipment upgrade in order to accomplish the live streaming. So that's where we stand on that.
Okay.
Yep.
On the inventory of current equipment, I'd also like to see the inventory of the equipment that, and the projected life expectancy from here on. And like the cameras, the portable cameras that film different events, obviously those have a lifespan, as does the equipment over in the office.
Yep. Well, most of the equipment in the office has been replaced and upgraded. The equipment here in Town Hall was probably about 5, 6 years old, Chris said. So that, who knows what the projected lifespan. I will have to defer to Chris and Rob as far as the life expectancy, but I think we ought to develop a list similar to what Capital Improvement Committee had, that this piece of equipment was installed on this date, expected replacement this date. Some equipment is expected lifespan of 5 years, some might have 10 years, but ideally, you want to do like Disney does. They know their light bulbs and certain things in their parks are good for X amount of hours, and they always replace them before they burn out. You don't wait for something to die.
So there is, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a master list, I'm assuming, of what we have for equipment.
Well, that's what I've asked Chris to
Okay.
work on.
All right.
And so whether or not it has been completed, I don't know.
Yeah.
But remember when he came to us and he said the 2 bulletin boards were at the end of their life expectancy, because he was informed by the maker of it that they were no longer going to be repairing it.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting for that equipment to fail, we went out and replaced it during our slow season, so it wouldn't be down more than a few days, and so that was done. And that's been upgraded. We've updated our microphones now, so that our microphones, I've listened to a number of the public meetings now, in the sound system. I am very happy with Chris and the work he's done with our new vendor as far as the sound system and the PA system in the room here. It's so much better. And I know it will reflect when we go to candidates night and any other public meeting in here, and when we even have our ascertainment hearing. So, all right, anyone else have anything they want to say Under 3. All right, going to 4. One of the things under the cable negotiations, I have asked Chris to go back through his log and develop the number of outages that we have had, so that when we're talking to Comcast, we can document that we had an outage on this date and when it was fixed. I also asked him to, just to be totally honest, we bear some responsibility for some of the outages. Some of the outages were even when I was doing the Board of Selectmen meeting and I forget to hit the on-air button back to the cable bulletin board. So I said, even on the ones that we're responsible for, we need to document it, because it's one thing to hold Comcast accountable for what they are responsible for. We need to be responsible and show that a few of the outages were either myself or Charlie forgetting to go back to the bulletin board. Yes, Ed?
Seems like a great many of the outages that I've spoken to you about, or given you a call.
Yep.
And you spoke with Chris. It seems like the majority of them have been Comcast's fault.
Some of them have.
And, you
some
know,
of
and I understand that, you know, sometimes when you're taping the meetings, they forget to throw the switch. But it seems like a lot of the outages have been Comcast's fault, and I just hope that Chris has been documenting
Yep.
all of
And
this.
I asked him to go back and document that, so we can have that. I mean, some of it is things that are beyond Comcast's ability to control. Some of it is definitely storm-related. If a tree comes down and affects it. Some of it is definitely antiquated equipment, so hopefully in our contract, we can ask for upgrades of equipment. And hopefully, you know, they're considering upgrading to fiber optic at some point in the future. Because fiber optic gives you much better quality. So hopefully that can be talked about in the negotiation process, or at least ascertained from Comcast. Right now, a lot of our system here is an older system, coaxial cable. It would be nice to know how much of our system is the older coaxial cable and how much, if any, is fiber optic, because a lot of cable companies will take their main lines and have fiber optics, but then they do, when they reach a certain point, go down to the older coaxial cable, I believe, is what I've been told. So, that completes everything that I wanted to discuss at this point. We'll have to discuss our possible meeting for next week, but like I say, we'll be looking at probably 2.5 hours for our next meeting, and I invite any board members to come to the Tuesday meeting with the Board of Selectmen, so that we can,
Will town council be there at that time?
I don't know, we can ask for that. I don't know if that can happen at this short notice. But maybe that is a good thing, that if he is unavailable for this one, that we can get him to
One
the
of our
following
meetings.
selectmen meeting, so that we
In
can
our
all
previous
be on the
meeting,
same page.
when he was here and we had it filmed,
Yep.
that, and he had stated that everything would be handled.
Yep. So we will do, yeah, but again, we were supposed to do a number of things, and, you know, that all of what was needed has not been completed. So,
Well, we've got a survey prepared.
so,
You've got to, I mean, I think the items that they're looking at
Yep.
on the agenda, I don't know if we need counsel for that. I'd rather have them at one of
Yep.
our meetings.
Yep.
But, you know, something
so
that
we'll go with that.
we'll determine.
And see what we can do. All right? Anything else that people want to address or propose for the next meeting?
Not for the next meeting. I just would urge anybody that's listening to this to come to our meetings or one of our meetings and let us know what you think.
Yep.
What you would want. No promises, but
Yep.
if we
No.
don't hear, I mean, we hear from people, just talking to folks
Yep.
that will say something about it, but
Yeah, and I want to reiterate that too. Our board meeting is like any other board or committee meeting in the town of Groveland. It's open to the public. I know, looking at social media, that people at times are very concerned with cable, but that does not help us. We need people to come and address the board, be willing to stand before the camera, and have their voice heard. That way, everyone knows what is on the mind. Public access television across the country is under fire. The cable operators are looking to eliminate us because it would increase their bottom line. I think that's dangerous because we are no longer covered by the daily newspapers. At one time, we used to be covered by 3 local daily papers and either a weekly or bi-weekly paper. That no longer happens. If people do not stand up for public access television, your ability to know what is happening in town government will be curtailed, and that will be a terrible thing. When we film a government meeting, nothing is edited. Everything is aired so that if somebody is expected to go to the polls and vote on a question, no matter what it is, you have that complete information. It's not like the news, and I don't know if any of you remember, sometimes when we were covered by multiple newspapers, and you would go to a public hearing, you would have different versions of that meeting in the newspaper. And whenever there was a controversial subject, I would buy either 2 and sometimes all 3 of the daily papers if they had covered, each covered that particular meeting. And I would say to a reporter, it's like, how could you go to that meeting and come to the conclusion that you had in your newspaper? And they said, well, my editor only gave me a 9-inch column and I needed a 15-inch column to have everything that I reported on. Or the editor just took
it out.
what they wanted,
Yeah.
to spin it the way they want. Public access television is vital. It's informative. I know some people don't think so, but if you do not stand up and be counted, it will be taken away. And that will be a terrible thing in this country if public access television is taken away from the people. Your ability to know what's happening in town government will be eliminated. So, please start attending the meetings. Please, if you have anything good, bad to say about cable, about the Groveland Public Access Television, Channel 9 or 22, please put it in writing. Please get it to one of the board members, because as much as we want Comcast to improve, we have to look at ourselves, and we have to improve too. in order to
Rick
serve the
Tracy,
people.
in addition to the board members, they can always leave it in the box, the cable TV box.
Yeah,
committee box, okay.
in town hall, if you come in the door to town hall and take a right, there is a big wooden mailbox, and there's one for cable TV advisory board. So if people don't feel comfortable seeing one of us in public and giving us their input, written or oral, you can write it down and put it in the box in town hall. All right, anyone else have anything else?
No.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So the Groveland Cable TV Advisory Board will adjourn at 8:05 PM. Thank you, everyone.